If you're interested in learning more about SEO in 2019, I will share with you the key trends what you need to follow to improve your search optimization skills. Who don't know me, my name is Anatoly Ulitovsky. I'm from SEO Tools TV. What's up, guys? Before watching this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. I'll start from article that was published on Search Engine Watch, and there are 9 tips for beginners. The first tip, start with optimizing your site for mobile devices. You know, today mobile traffic is more than desktop traffic, and it means it's important today to promote your website for mobile devices. You can use free tool from Google. It's called Google PageSpeed Insights, and you can check how your website is loading for mobile devices. Tip number 2, understand how users search. Before creating content, it's important to understand what type of answers you need to give in your content. You can check your competitors' content that rank on the top 10 and analyze what type of content they have, how they reply their answers, and of course it's important to find their weak side and create something new, some fresh information, and give better answer than your competitors. Don't rewrite them, create something new, because it's more important for Google. And if Google sees that you have the same content, perhaps you can't rank your website, because if you just rewrite, people might see the same content on the top 10. It's better to provide something new, fresh information. Tip number 3, write for humans, optimize for search engines. You know, search engines were created for a human, not for a robots. And you know, if we go back 10 years ago, all websites were optimized for robots, but today it's not the same situation, because today Google learns user behavior, and it gives some point why Google needs to rank your website, because it was created for a human. And I think it's an important point today. I think I can put the number first position, because many website owners continue create content for search engines, not for people. And I like, before creating any content, to analyze competitors, to understand what type of answers I need to give in my content. And the second one, create this content and forget about search engines. Just create content, answer all questions what people might ask in their keywords, and after this optimize your content. You can give additional tasks, delegate this task for your web designer and web developer, because you know, before creating content for search engines, you need to have the best content, and after this just optimize for search engines. Tip number 4, analyze your existing search traffic. You know, sometimes it's better to improve your existing traffic than try to find new keyword ideas and promote, because it takes a lot of time. According to Ahrefs, only 7% of new websites can get the top 10 position in the first year. It means that if you have existing positions, sometimes you can improve CTR or any other parameters to add more content to your pages, and or update content, and it gives a good point for Google to rank your website higher. Tip number 5, stay up to date with the latest changes in SEO. It's important today to learn more about SEO, to read SEO blogs, to watch YouTube videos, listen to audio podcasts, and even to read marketing books, especially marketing books, because there are a lot of different points how you can provide marketing for human psychology. Because today SEO and marketing are more related than 10 years ago, when all content were created for robots, not for a human. And yeah, it's better to learn everything what you can find on the internet. Sometimes it's difficult because today there are published many articles, hundreds, thousands articles each single day, and it's better to find what is related to your purposes. For example, I usually read articles about content marketing, about content creation and link building, and I don't have time to watch and videos and read articles about pay-per-click and any other marketing points, perhaps even social media, because I have my priority. It's important. Tip number 6, learn the most important ranking factors. You can't consider all ranking factors because there are 200 ranking factors, and each ranking factor has a lot of other sub-ranking factors, and Google each year provides more than 3,000 different changes on their search algorithm. It means that you need to consider some important changes, but you can't consider all of them because you don't know them. Google doesn't share the information, just give some generic information about changes, and what you need to do to consider the most important. The most important is content and I think link building. Yep. About other ranking factors, of course, it's better to know them, like parameter EAT, expertise, authority, and trustworthiness, because without these parameters, it's difficult to promote a website today. Tip number 7, never underestimate user experience. You know, if you create content for a human, not for robots. And Google wants to get content that satisfy users' intent. And if you want to sell your products, you need to satisfy user intent. And don't think about only ranking, because traffic don't sell your products. People buy your products, and it means that you need to consider user experience, and if you provide the best user experience, Google will rank your website higher. Tip number 8, discover the link between social media and SEO. You know, perhaps 10 years ago it was not necessary to promote in social media, and you can focus all attention only to SEO, but today it doesn't work like this, because SEO is more related with social media networks today. You know, 70% of customers want to see their brands on social media networks. They can read their reviews on social media networks and connect with their loving brands. And today it's more important to have social traffic. Of course, it's indirect ranking factor, but this indirect impact is phenomenal. It means that you need to consider social media networks, to work there and promote your website on social media, yep, and to cooperate with your visitors on social media. Tip number 9, understand how voice search works. If you create content, today it's important to create content in conversational form, because voice search is different with classical form of keywords. For example, SEO, yeah, just one word, search engine optimization. People can ask on Google how I can provide SEO, or for example, which SEO agency is better to cooperate. It means that you need to consider conversational form, and it's better, for example, if you write some new content, you can read out loud this content. If it's difficult to read, it's better to rewrite it, because in 2020 50% of all traffic will be image search and voice search. And today people use a lot of different devices in their smartphones, or for example Alexa or Google Home. Okay, we go ahead, and the next article from Optinmonster, and their 24 expert SEO tips and advice to boost your traffic in 2019. And tip number 1, focus on user experience. Of course, it's important, you know, you can learn your user experience by using Google Analytics to check bounce rate, time on site, and other parameters, because Google considers how users behave on your website, and Google usually checks dwell time. This parameter shows that users go back to search engines or not. We can't check this parameter, but you can check other parameters like time on site and bounce rate. If you see that you have higher bounce rate and lower time on site, it means that you need to change something in your content and to understand why users avoid your website. Tip number 2, overhaul your almost first page posts. It's interesting, yeah, I can read this. Next up, we have Andy Cristodina, co-founder and chief marketing officer of Orbit Media. Andy recommends looking for posts that almost rank high and rewriting them. You can find this post in Google Analytics by going to Acquisition Search Console queries and setting up an advanced filter to show the phrases where your average position rank is greater than 10 on page 2. Yeah, you know, I like that point. For example, you can use even Google Search Console and you can find website positions where you have from 4 to 10 or, for example, from 11 to 30. Why you need to do it? Because sometimes you have traffic, you have existing positions, and you just need to improve them. And for example, if your position will improve from position 10 to position 1, you can increase your traffic in 10 times. That means it's better to rewrite your existing content than create new ones, because it takes time to promote. And yeah, just when you have this report from Google Search Console, you can see what type of keywords you need to improve. Just check your competitors, check your existing content, and think how you can improve it. For example, to rewrite this content, or even to provide some link building which can help to promote your website. Tip number 3, tap the potential of video. You know, I like this point a lot, because YouTube today has, I don't remember exactly the number, but it's like 55% of all searches on Google have one video, you know, at least one video. That means you can get on the top position by using video in 24 hours.
Excellent.
If you need to promote a few years one type of content with video search, you can get the top positions only in 24 hours, because in YouTube it's more easily to promote your website. You don't need to spend a lot of years. Tip number 4, rank for future snippets. Yep, you know, if you want to rank for future snippets, it's better to check your existing positions. If you have some positions on the top 10, after this you can use tools like Ahrefs or SEMrush and check what type of queries people can ask with this content, and to add these answers to your content. And many websites use this strategy, like HubSpot, Ahrefs, and many others, and it helps to add additional information and answer many questions, and that increases a lot of your traffic. And tip number 5, create comprehensive, authoritative, evergreen content. You know, I think it's important to have evergreen content, because especially for a new website, because if you don't have positions and loyal audience, when you provide some news and nobody reads them, how you can, you know, in a few days nobody will interested with this news, because many other websites provide this news. And in my experience, many of my clients, they write news a few years, and they ask me, I don't know what's happened, you know, but I told them, you don't need to provide news if you don't have loyal audience. Leave news to CNN, Forbes, and any other websites, because they need to feed their audience. But your purpose is to get positions on the top 10, and it's better to provide evergreen content, because it's not outdated. Of course, you can rewrite this content in a few years if some information can change, but people can ask the same questions, you know, in a few years ago. And tip number 6, maximize user engagement. Yeah, it's interesting. We can read this one. Max Desmarais, oh, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce correctly this name, is an SEO and PPC specialist for Vital and digital marketing and PPC agency that specializes in PPC management services. It's interesting. Yeah, he gave some interesting tips. Be easy to read. Oh yeah, I like this tip because you don't need to write your content, and if people don't understand what you mean in your content, it's better to rewrite it. And some companies, after creating content, they give to editors who don't know their topic, and if editors told, sorry, I don't understand what you mean in this content, it's better to rewrite it. And it's better to avoid some difficult terminology and write short sentences. It helps, to understand your content better. Include highly relevant links and offers on the page. Of course, it's important because it improves level of trust and authority if you provide some proof that all information what you wrote, it's proven by different websites, authority websites. Use LCI keywords. It's interesting because John Mueller told that LCI keywords are not existing, but I can explain what type of keywords LCI. When you search on Google and when you scroll down to the page, you can see some different type of keywords which Google recommend to use if you didn't find suitable content, and if you extend your content with these LCI keywords, you can get better results, to add additional keywords to your content. The next tip: contain multiple ways for users to absorb the content. Include images, infographics, video, and text. Yeah, I think when you create content, you don't need to write content like to write book, because if people open book, they want to read this. Readers don't need to get any pictures there, but if they open websites, if they see only text without pictures, infographics, video, and other type of multimedia, they avoid this article and content because it's not interesting. And you need to remember that one picture is more value than 1,000 words. Tip number 7: optimize for word search. Yeah, we explained this tip and go ahead. Tip number 8: focus on mobile first indexing. Yep, because Google divided today their ranking for mobile devices and desktop version. It means that you need to check how your website looks for mobile devices, especially your content, and you can use Google PageSpeed Insights and other free tools from Google. You can check all type of content you can see on mobile devices, because some web developers can stream some type of content for mobile devices, and Google will not rank this website. Okay, go ahead. Bonus 16 quick SEO tips. Okay, increase your click-through rate. I like that point, and even Martin Splitt, Google Webmaster Trends, especially in Google Webmaster Trends, he told that meta tags is the second, the most important internal ranking factors. Because when people open Google, they are not blind. They click after reading, and if you have boring titles and a description, people might not open your website, and it shows Google that your content is not interesting. Of course, it's indirect factor, because Google many times highlighted that CTR is not a ranking factor, but it influences user behavior. They open or not your website. And yep, it's indirect influence, and you need to consider this. And it's better to optimize your title, for example, to use symbols, numbers, brackets, and some interesting words that improve some level of curiosity. Okay, user power words. Include parentless or brackets. Yeah, I told about this. Go ahead. what we can see here, reduce bounce rate, increase dwell time. Yeah, grab visitors' attention with an above default hook, craft engaging into paragraphs, use internal linking to keep visitors moving to other relevant content on your website. For example, if you create new content, just create a lot of internal links from relevant pages, and it improves ranking, it helps to promote new content. Gain site authority. No, I think it's important today. And move to HTTPS if you don't have this. Even on WordPress you can use some plugins and you don't need to pay for HTTPS. Increase your social proof. Of course, it's important to use social media. Okay, scroll down, optimize your site for top SEO performance. Okay. Okay, I think, yeah, it's about loading your website, and many studies show, Google, Amazon, I don't remember exactly all companies that provide these studies, that if your website is loading more than 1 second, you usually lose 20% of conversion rate. Yeah, it's a lot, you know, and it's better to check, especially for mobile devices, that your website is loading less than 3 seconds. If it's loading more than 3 seconds, you need to optimize this website, to ask your developers to help, you know, with optimization. Okay, and we will discuss about other article, 21 effective low effort and high return SEO techniques for 2019. Yeah, it's interesting article as well. Optimize your titles and headlines, prioritize pages in website navigation. Yeah, I think it's important point, because we discussed about the first tip. And when you create some structure or navigation page, you think about users, because, you know, if it will be difficult for users to find necessary content, you can lose these users. And people hate difficult websites. Even Amazon have more than 3 billion products, and this resource created suitable structure, you know, where you can find in 3 clicks and everything. And it's the same. I don't think you are like Amazon, but you can use your website structure and make more simple as possible. Okay, add breadcrumbs to your pages. Of course, yeah, you can use it. For example, Amazon uses, and you can use as well if you see that, especially for online shops, and if you can help your visitors to find what they want more quickly. Implement tracking on your site. Yeah, you can use Google Search Console and Google Analytics. Install SSL certificate. Yeah, we discussed this. Okay, I just try to find some interesting points there. Link to relevant authority websites. Secure your social media profiles. Post fresh, high quality content. Update, improve existing content. Repurpose existing content. Make your website mobile friendly. Acquire your competitors' backlinks. Yeah, I think that we can stay here with link building, because even if you provide the best content on the world, it's important to inform people that you have this content, because nobody will open that content and Google won't know about existing of this content. And link building helps to inform people that your content exists. Google counts links from authority websites, from relevant websites. If all these links were created natural, yeah, it helps to improve your website, and you can use different techniques. And you know, it's related with outreach, when you send emails to bloggers, to other website owners, or to use PR strategy. I think that's it for today. If you like this video, please write comments, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and see you next time. Cheers!